It's harder than you think it is, and it's gonna hurt more than you think it will.
What happens if he doesn't make it?
Give me like 10 seconds and we'll get to the video. I'm Cody, this is Charlie. I took on this challenge because it was hard. I wanted to prove to myself and to others that we are capable of doing hard things. But a month before the race, my 17-year-old nephew Landon unfortunately passed away in a freak car accident. This race, this video, it's all dedicated to him and the rest of my family, especially my sister Randy. And without further ado, let's get to the video. We're officially 12 hours away from the start of the race. This is the first time in a long time I can say I'm genuinely scared.
OJ, what are you gonna do if you see a bear?
Damn, it'll be like 8 p.m.?
Yeah, so I'll probably pick up Johnny around 8 p.m.
Oh, so we are running in the dark.
It's 6 a.m. It's officially race day. I don't know if I've ever been as excited and nervous about something in my entire life. We're gonna give it our best shot.
How you feeling?
This really is the weirdest feeling I've ever had in my entire life.
Oh man, feel like you going to war?
See y'all on the other side. Cheering you on.
Hey bro, go kill it, you got it. Yes sir.
Just start from the beginning of the race?
Yeah.
All right.
Race starts, Usain Cody Bolt fly past, almost took people out on the turn.
We take the gondola up, views were immaculate. I'm like, these guys are really about to do this. It seemed like a big hike.
Start of the race, we got a 2,000-foot climb. We're going up there.
You know, because I thought, for some reason in my head, I thought it was running, like full-on sprinting for like 100, which again, sounds challenging, but this seemed, dude, you're straight climbing. Like, it was literally vertical.
We're looking around, it's a beautiful day, super sunny. People start trickling in and we see all the runners in a long line near what's like the middle of the mountains. They get closer, so does a black wall of clouds.
Hail was coming down, the rain, there was lightning, thunder.
2 miles in, was able to see the crew at the top of the gondola, so that was encouraging. It was sunny 1 second, then all of a sudden couldn't see anything. So they said a storm is about to roll in, so I feel like this race is about to get real really quickly.
The one thing about this race was the weather. I've never seen weather so crazy in my life, just so bipolar.
So it was 12 miles until the next aid station, Fish Creek Falls, where I met you guys for the first time.
And we got 12 miles until the next aid station where we meet up with the crew.
Oh yeah, I fell at this point.
Well, I took my first fall, scraped my hands up pretty good, scraped my elbow up pretty good, and my knee landed right on a rock, but we'll survive. Here we go.
We get to Fish Creek Falls and it's like a party. Everyone's kind of like in good spirits. There's a bunch of food.
Just seeing him, you know, coming in, he said he fell and he was hurt a little bit, but I just knew like he was just dialed in, he was going. So it was good to see him there and just keep him moving. And that first stop, I think, is when we realized, you know, here's where the men and the boys and the women and the girls separate. Because you started seeing people come in and they were defeated already, man. They were already beat, ready to go.
He takes back off. At this point, we have about like maybe 5-6 hours. We got a good amount of time before we see him again. We grabbed a fishing rod at Walmart, tiny little miniature, I guess it was the kids' version of a fishing pole.
Caught some really big trout, really big fish. This is like Toys R Us, like little 6-incher. You look like Ash Ketchum trying to catch a Pokemon, dude.
It's raining again, but we're feeling pretty good. The strategy is to walk the uphills and when I can, jog the flat parts and the downhills. Remember when I said that it was raining? Well, it's hailing now. It's at the third aid station, Long Lake, and this is beautiful, man. About 24 miles in, something like that. Now we have 6 miles till the next aid station at mile 30, then another one at 35, and then I pick up Johnny at 44. I'm hesitant to say that right now I'm having fun. Mile 30. Getting some soup, changing our socks, and then we're hitting the road again. 35 miles in right now. I'd say I just hit my first real rough patch. There's a thunderstorm, so that's sick. Downpour with hail, lightning, thunder. Whew.
And then I had to get to mile 44 to hit my nighttime drop bag, where my headlamp was, where my nighttime running gear was. And this is where it really started to get interesting.
It started raining and thundering and all that And they were like, oh my God, like Cody's in this weather, it's hitting him again. And I was just like, damn, bro, I'm glad I'm not out there. We're waiting, and I was like, damn, I see all these headlamps coming in. Like, I wonder when he's coming in. And Aaliyah was like, he doesn't have a headlamp. And I was like, oh my God, this guy.
Because my knees were aching, I decided to take it a little bit easier. I decided to slow my pace a little bit and try to play the long haul. But because I slowed my pace a little bit, nightfall came a little quicker than I expected.
Comes in, high spirits, we're ready to go. We got the blanket set up for the guy.
And this is a spot where we're gonna start rotating in. I'm gonna start first, and it was Maurice and it was Ollie. Now it's like, okay, now we're gonna get in the game. I'm getting ready to sub in, and my approach is, I wanna see how he is. I know he doesn't necessarily need to be pushed physically. I think it's more of a mental thing at that point, because he's been going on what, like 12, 16 hours at that point? Almost kind of get a gauge of what he needs instead of like, let's go. Because sometimes when you're tired, you don't wanna hear that. You're like, this.
This was the point during the race I was just feeling extremely nauseous.
And I remember we did some calculations like, okay, if we keep this pace of 18 minutes per mile, we get to the stop, you rest for 15 minutes, you go with Maurice, you keep that pace, you'll be able to finish in time. So his morale was still there, he was ready to go, not defeated at all.
And I'm up next. We gotta go through the lane of pain.
What is there to say about the lane of pain? If I had to pick one part or one section of the race that was probably the hardest, it would be the lane of pain.
And we take off into the darkness and you can't see anything.
Because at this point, we're like 54 to 60-ish miles in, immediately 5 miles straight uphill. It's still raining. It's like 3 in the morning. I just want to sleep. Again, thanks to Maurice, who I wanted to kill. He was freestyling the entire time. He was doing what he called steamboat stepping. He was being Maurice.
Cody definitely had to slow down and actually stop a couple times and just like lean over. And I'm like, yo, it's getting tough for this guy, man. He's like 50 plus miles in.
This is when I started to really feel the hypothermia type symptoms I was experiencing and the elevation. I started hallucinating. Like I would see Charlie in the woods. There were other points during the race where I saw like a wedding in the woods. I saw a couple cars in the woods, but then you would walk up to it and it's just a bundle of sticks.
We made it back and I just remember being depleted. It's 5 a.m. at this point, which is crazy for me to think because this dude just did like, that's 60, we did 12 miles together, so it was 63 miles.
You know, he was shaking, looked like hypothermia to me. I'm not a nurse though. I was with a nurse and she said this looks like hypothermia to me. I was a little worried. I didn't know if it was necessarily safe for him to get sent on to the next leg. I've known Cody for 11 years now. It was probably the worst condition I've ever seen him, and I've been through the trenches with him. Now, there's always good and the bad, if you can find it. How that was good for me, I was like, yes, I don't have to run at night through the woods. I hate bears. I was like, there's no way he's gonna want to do this next leg. Like, he's beat the shit. And then he just looks down at my shoes, he goes, you running in those? And I was like, God.
So then I set out for 7 miles with Ali to the mile 70 aid station at Dry Lake. And once the sun came back up, it gave me like a whole new life.
Chugging along like the little engine that could. Yeah, 70 miles in. This dude's a fucking trooper. But there's one thing I learned, he's never done this before. I've never been a part of something like this. Even if you don't fully know what you're getting yourself into, work with what you got, and you can make this happen. Let's go. Let's go.
This was the first point in probably 10 or 15 miles. I felt like I was gonna finish the race.
There were probably like 10 points. I was like, what the am I doing out here? Why am I here? And we finished that leg super strong. I wish I could have done a little bit more. I was miles 63 to 70. It's like, damn, that's still a whole nother marathon and some change that he has to do by himself. I didn't want him slipping back in that like kind of delirious state, potentially getting lost.
After me seeing Cody in the lane of pain, like soulless, leaning over, sleepy, not being able to breathe, and then I take a nap, I wake up and I see him running down or jogging down with Ollie. At this point, I was like, oh, like he made it through the night.
Then I had to head up the backside of the first mountain we climbed, so I'm heading back up to mile 76 now, which is at Billy's Rabbit Hole, the one we passed earlier. It's really when my Achilles started to not work.
75 miles in. Before about 2 miles ago, I was confidently saying this is the first time I believe I'm going to finish this race. But because we can't have nice things, my Achilles tendon just decided to stop working. So I can't really push it off on my left foot right now. So for the last 25 miles, we're gonna limp, walk, whatever we can do. to get there, but we're gonna get there.
So the next aid station was mile 88 at Long Lake.
And this is when I think Aaliyah started getting worried. Yo, I can't find him. Like, where is he? Like,
It was just a sunny, beautiful day, and now it's storming.
And they told us at the pre-race briefing, they said this part of the race is not going to be very well marked because when we were trying to mark the course, there was a black bear on one side and a bull moose on the other, so we couldn't get to mark the course. So I got to that part, and because I was hallucinating, because my head was down, it was storming, the hail was pelting me, I guess I just took a wrong turn. I got lost. While I was looking at my map, it was still raining. I look up at one point and there's just a moose staring right at me about 30 yards away. And I'm just like, wow, this is how I'm going out. But luckily these runners run by and I'm just like, I have to follow them. They're my only way out of here. Led me to the mile 90 aid station. But by the time we got there, I noticed that I was right on the cutoff time.
About an hour, hour and a half goes by. It's like a little after 7. The cutoff is at 8.
We get to the mile 94 aid station at Mount Warner, which is the last aid station before the finish. The issue is the last 6 miles is all downhill, which in theory sounds nice. You would think you'd be able to go faster, but my knees and my Achilles were hurting so bad. Any step I took forward or downhill, I could feel it's like a shooting pain at my legs.
and so it's getting close. I think Cody's deadline, it's like 30 minutes in. Aaliyah's texting us like, is he gonna make it? Like, can you guys go get him? Like, we're just looking.
He's got 30 minutes, you know, if he's not close, like what happens if he doesn't make it?
I did what I could. I would shuffle for a little bit, then I would walk backwards. I would shuffle for a little bit and I would walk backwards. I look at the time, I see that if I kept the pace that I was going, then I wasn't going to be able to finish the race in time. I wasn't going to make the cutoff time. There was a moment, I can't describe it, it sounds dramatic, but it felt like a switch flipped inside of my brain. I had a thought to myself, I said, there's no way that I've been training for 10 months. I just went through everything I just went through, 4 thunderstorms, saw moose, bear, mountain lion, my knee and my Achilles hurt. There's no way that we're come this close and I'm not getting that belt buckle. Somehow I was just able to start sprinting. Like my Achilles pain went away, my knee pain went away, my legs felt fresh, like I hadn't just run 97 miles.
After not sitting down for too long, we see somebody in the distance trotting forward with sticks in hand, not even looking at us, just, let's go. Let's go.
The last quarter mile, we just sprinted it together. And that was a really important moment for me because it was such a team effort. I wanted to make sure that we crossed the finish line together.
This boy's sprinting like 100 miles. Like we see him coming in and we just get up and we run alongside of him and they're just jumping up and down and cheering and, you know, just screaming him on like, you know, you're almost there.
It's a great feeling. And just seeing him run through the finish line just gave me goosebumps. Like I definitely, even right now, I'm like, dude, there's such a great feeling.
And as soon as I crossed the finish line, my body just gave out. The chills set back in, started sweating like crazy. My Achilles pain came back times a million. My knee pain came back and my body just gave out.
Because you witness all the emotions with him, right? We experienced the beginning, the middle, you know, even when we're not with him, just he's out there. We saw it all firsthand. So seeing him finish, it felt like we all finished, you know, which was a great feeling.
The feeling of crossing the finish line, it's addicting. I don't know, I think because it really did feel like a lifetime of emotions and experience packed into 36 hours. I still don't think I've processed the entire thing fully. You need a really special group of people around you who are willing to do this sort of thing.
I saw you write something about your therapist. What was that quote?
It's less about having it all figured out and just trusting yourself enough to figure it out along the way.
That's 100 miles.
That's the 100 miles.
Hi, son. It's your mama.
So I love you, Uncle Cody. Don't give up, okay?
I've been saying you're crazy. And here you are running 100 miles. I'd be lying if I said the things that you have done have inspired me to do other things.
I just want to say I'm so proud of you and keep going.
Really got excited about this for you since day one when you were just telling us that you're doing it. We're all like, you're freaking crazy. This is stupid. What you do to people, you motivate them, you inspire them to do better things. Thank you for, what you do for me, what you do for these people. Love you, man.
It's hard. Think about your family. Think about Landon. I know he won't stop. You never give up. Just keep going.
You're a crazy person for running 100-mile race. Bravo, Layla.
Good luck on your race, Uncle Cody. I love you.
You can do this from Lucas. Hey, I'm supposed to be talking to the world's best uncle? I hear he's running a 100-mile race. You You are amazing. I know you can do this.
Hey Cody, it's your sister. I don't really know 100% what to say.